Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I'm going to do a beginner's guide to flipping furniture. I'm actually gonna buy my pieces on Marketplace, flip them, show you how to choose things that are going to sell, and then I'm actually gonna sell them on Marketplace. So I'm gonna walk you through the whole process. So if you are new to furniture flipping and wanna learn how to do it, just keep watching. Here are my mismatched end tables I got off of a Marketplace. If you are starting out flipping, this would be a great small project for you to get your feet wet and see if you can sell it. These were originally listed for $50 and I got them for $40. They're in kind of rough shape. I think this is overpaying for this, but this is just how my market is. So it just depends on where you are. The cheaper you can get something for, the more profit you're going to be able to make. I think I can market these as nightstands or end tables, so I'm going to try to coordinate them because I know I can make more money off of a set than selling them individually. So I'm starting by removing my hardware and I'm going to give these both a good cleaning with my Dixie Belle White Lightning. I have seen a lot of people mix this in a spray bottle so you can keep it time after time and I don't have to dump out whatever is left over in my bucket. So I'm going to be doing that today. So I'm going to spray these with my White Lightning solution and I'm going to scrub them and then I will rinse them with some clean water to get rid of any of that soap residue. And speaking of Dixie Belle, they are my sponsor of today's video and you know what that means. They will be giving away a $100 gift card to their website to a lucky winner. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Dixie Belle's channel, and then comment down below if you have ever tried to flip a piece of furniture for profit before. Okay, I'm showing you my cleaning rag because it is covered in stain and that is a really good indicator that I'm gonna need to use a stain blocker. So just remember that for the future. But first I'm taking a wood epoxy and I'm mixing it up and I'm filling in this big gouge that I have. This stuff acts like putty and it's really easy to shape and mold and can repair really big damages like this. And since I already had it mixed up, I used it to fill my holes and this big chip in this drawer as well. The veneer on this top was pulling away a little bit too, so I put some wood glue in there and clamped that down. Once everything was dry, I came back in with my sander with a 120 grit sandpaper and smoothed everything out. And this video today is a tribute to all the amazing YouTubers that have popped up recently that are flipping furniture, paying off things like student debt, their mortgage. I am just so inspired by everybody. How easy this finish sanded off also shows me that it's kind of failing and in bad shape, and another indicator that you're going to need to seal it before you paint. The tops on both of these pieces were very shiny and slick, so I'm going to take a fine sandpaper and give them a good scuff sand so that my primer and paint will adhere nicely. And then before I prime, I want to make sure all that dust is gone, so I'm using my mister bottle and a shop towel to remove all that dust. And while I was prepping, I found this cool stamp that told me this was made in 1970. I love little surprises like that. And I'm going to sand the inside of these drawers just to make them look nice and fresh and get any marks and scuffs off of them. And my last step in prep is I'm going to prop these up on my painter's pyramid so that my pieces don't stick to my tarp. So since I can tell this piece is a bleeder, I am going to be using Boss as my primer. What's great about Boss is it comes in 3 colors, gray, clear, and white. Since I'm going with a light color, I am going to use the white version. But if you saw my video last week when I had a black piece, I could have really used a gray tinted primer. So that comes in handy when you're needing to do a dark color. They do have a gray primer, and the clear one is for when you just want to be able to distress and see that wood finish underneath. I'm going for a solid color here, so the white is going to give me the best coverage, and these were a little stinky too, and this actually blocks odors as well, so I'm doing a double duty. As my first coat was drying, I knew I made a good decision because I could see a little bit of the tannins coming through that first coat. So I knew I wanted to do a second coat for extra measure. So I let it dry for about an hour and then I put on my second coat and let this dry overnight. The longer you let it dry, the better it's going to stain block and odor block. So just keep that in mind. So since I'm selling this, I had a choice between 2 neutral colors. I have burlap and driftwood. These I know are going to sell really quickly, so I wanted to pick one of these, and since I've done so much beige lately, I went with driftwood, which is one of my favorite Dixie Belle colors. I had this can left over from my laundry room makeover, so I am going to be painting directly out of it. I like to add water to Dixie Belle paint when I'm going for a smooth look. I like to have it a little bit more runny than it comes out of the can, so you can water it down to your liking. I'm applying this with my favorite Dixie Belle synthetic brush. This is the angled mini, and I also used the small round. Actually, this is the first time I'm ever using this brush, and I really loved it for these legs. It helped me get into the details and the curves really well. When I'm doing tops, I like to take the shortest angle possible, so I'm going from side to side so that I can get some long strokes all the way across. Then when I get the top done, I go around and make sure the edges are nice and smooth. And of course, I had to jump over and paint the other table. And this is my new favorite step, to take one of these red Surf Prep rad pads and just smooth out the top for any of those little imperfections or dust bits that might have gotten in my top. For my second coat, I'm using a new can, so I did pour that in here. And for my second coat, I like to add even more water than I add on my first coat, because with this paint down, it's gonna absorb a lot more into the actual paint that you put on. And I just like having a thinner coat that I can spread out more. Okay, I mentioned I want to sell these as a set and coordinate them, but they are two different heights. So I created these little risers for the shorter one. I got these out of the craft section at Hobby Lobby. They are actually, I think, tires, but they work really well because they're curved, and when I put them together, they kind of match the shape of the existing foot on that piece. So I wood glued them together, let them dry, and then came in and added that driftwood paint to those, and then set those aside, and I'm gonna let them dry while I start top coating. For top coat, I selected the satin clear coat. You normally see me work with flat because that's the type of furniture that I like, but satin gives you just a little bit more protection, and I think it's more universally liked. This seems to be everybody's favorite finish if you're looking for like a mass favorite. So that means it's probably going to sell a lot quicker if I do it in a satin finish. This one is super forgiving too, so if you're a beginner, I find this is the most forgiving top coat. It goes on white, but it dries clear and beautiful, no yellowing, and it really levels out and hides your brush strokes. Quick tip: whenever you're putting a new coat on a flat surface like this, it is going to collect dust and stuff, so make sure you wipe it off before you start. And here with the top coat, I do kind of the same thing that I do with the paint. I do long strokes across, back and forth, and really make sure that everything's filled in, get one long stroke, and then move on to the next section. And I'm using the synthetic mini to apply this top coat. So before I apply that top coat to my second nightstand end table, I am going to add my little feet now that they're dry. So I'm just sticking a wood screw in that hole and attaching them to each leg. These ended up looking really great and like part of the feet, and after I got these attached, I top coated this piece. And while my first top coat was drying, I brought in my new flooring that I just got for my staging wall that's out here in my garage now. I used to have to haul pieces inside my house to take pictures, and I kind of created a faux little area out here that looks like I'm taking them inside without having to haul them inside. Okay, now I'm just going to add that second coat to both of these pieces and then let that dry, and then I'm ready to apply my new hardware. I got these cute little library card pulls from Amazon. They were really affordable, so I made a little template to put these on the drawers. I'm going to put them on both pieces so that they'll coordinate. I had drilled pilot holes to get these in because they're actual little screws that you screw these in. And I don't know if I will recommend these because these were very temperamental, and I did like a lot of work to make sure that they were going to be even and level. And then when you go to screw them on, those little screws are just really hard to get in, even with pilot holes. So they kind of didn't end up perfect and completely level like I planned and wanted to. So I don't know if I'll be using these again. They were cute, but they were very temperamental. Now that my pieces are done, I'm going to stage them up. So I'm just adding some decor to them to make them look finished and complete. If you don't have a staging wall like this, just bring them inside, find a blank wall and stage them in there. Try to do it next to a window so you can have some good natural light. Staging makes such a difference in showcasing your pieces, and if you don't have a fancy camera like me, phones work great. Just make sure, again, that you have lots of good natural light. So now that I have all my pictures taken and uploaded, I want to get a price for my piece, what I want to list it for. So I've pulled up my furniture pricing sheet, which is a free download on my website, which I will include down in the description box. But it basically has one side with my product, everything I've put into it, from what I paid for the end tables to all the paint that I use, the hardware. And then I tack on like $5 to every project just to help pay for my brushes and sandpaper and little odds and ends. And then on the other side, I do all my tasks. So the planning, the cleaning and prep, the prime, the paint, the top coat, how many hours that took me. And then I multiply that by my hourly rate that I give myself, which is $30. You can set that yourself. So that adds that all together and gives me a suggested price of $233. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna list it, I think, for $250. So I'm gonna just list this on Facebook Marketplace because for me, it's like the safest way to list things. And I've had success at it, so I don't really go anywhere else besides here. And I'm just gonna create a new listing. I'm gonna upload my pictures. I always talk about the dimensions, that they're completely refinished, what color they're painted, what kind of top coat they have, if they have new hardware. So I put all the pickup details in there, how I wanna be paid, and I've started asking for a deposit to hold things, a non-refundable one, so that I only get serious inquiries. And then I put like all my beautiful glamour shots that I've done, but then I also just take shots with my camera of the drawers and the drawer, like how they're attached, so that people can see that it's in good shape and the inside of the drawers are in good shape. And I'm gonna post this and we're gonna see if it sells. Now, before I give you an update on if they sold or not, I just wanted to do my before and after. So again, here is what my little mismatched nightstands and tables looked like, 2 different heights before, and here they are now. I really like the way these turned out. I love how they're coordinated and nice and neutral now, and I hope they will find a new home with someone who really loves them too. And I can't believe how easy it was to get these to the same height, and you can't even really tell that I did anything to them. Okay, bad news. I didn't sell them in 2 days, which is pretty normal. It usually takes me a week or 2 weeks to sell something. And if I sell it really quickly, then that usually means that I have priced it too low. So don't take that first lowball offer, hang on to it for a little bit. If it doesn't sell in a couple of weeks, then you can lower your price. So hopefully I will have an update for you guys soon. This has been saved a lot of times and viewed a lot of times. So I'm hoping the right buyer is gonna come along. I will let you know how that all turns out. Make sure you check out some of my other projects before you leave. I will be back next week with another furniture makeover. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.